Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to another beautiful week. And this is another week of the Markets Forecast edition. My name is Yemi Olaleye, and this is proudly brought to you by FX Pro. Getting started, we're looking at the month of December 8th to 12th, 2025, and let's begin with the fundamental outlook of the market, and we move from there to the technical perspective of the market. On Monday, there is no high impact news in the market, and of course, we have Italian bank holiday that covers for euro as a currency. On Tuesday, we have high momentum and high forecast right there on AUD, JPY, and US dollar. Coming up on the RBA rate for AUD, JPY with the governor. You heard her speaking. US dollar is tentative on JOLTS job opening, and they are all high impact news. On the Wednesday, which is the 10th of December, we have high impact news covering up on the US dollar, Canadian dollar, and that ranges from 2:30 p.m. Nigerian time to 8:30 p.m. Nigerian time. And of course, that has to cover for employment cost index quarter by quarter and BOC press conference, federal funds rate, FOMC statement. A lot is coming out this week as our impact news is concerned. And on Thursday, of course, we have the AUD US dollar, and we have AUD and CHF, and also US dollar. US dollar will be focusing on the unemployment claims, and AUD focusing on unemployment rate too. CHF focusing on SMB policy, which is the monetary policy assessment, and that is 9:30 a.m. Nigerian time. On Friday, we have just one high impact news that covers for the Great Britain pounds on the GDP monthly by monthly. And these are the highlights of the week, and these are all high impact news. And let's watch out for how they unfold in the market. Going straight into the technicals, let's start with the DXY. DXY has been a change in momentum for a while now. Actually, this was the level we expecting Dixie to get into. I analyzed this the last time we talked about this. My projection was still to see DXY running a bullish momentum right into this range before we have a fantastic sell in the future. But I think the price is just doing what it's meant to do right now because the price has been bearish for the past 2 weeks. And with that, therefore, on higher time frame perspective, like weekly, we are still very much in a demand zone, which looks good. But if you take a critical look at what it's going on right now, we have two bearish momentum candle for the downward side over the 2 weeks. So basically, we're just going to watch out how this unfold on the lower time frame perspective. So let's check that on the lower time frame. Let's see what that means. And on the lower time frame, on the daily, for example, let's see how that interprets. We saw how the market has moved into the direction over time, and it has been bearish. And of course, when you look at that, I'm going to take this out. When you look at that, it's more or less like the price rejected this entire zone right here, right here, right here. And from that moment going forward, the price has been bearish. And last week I was talking about a zone like here. If we have a break out of this structure, it's something meaningful. And of course we had. And currently the price is still hovering around that level. So if you look at this, this is much of a bearish momentum on the daily time frame perspective. And of course, we have to look at the market in that direction. So we're not trying to jump on trade without a reason. We want to have an actual reason for jumping on a particular trade. That being said, so let's go straight into the next thing, which is the lower time frame perspective of this, because right here we have a bearish momentum on the DXY. That means EURUSD will likely be buying. So this is the 4 hour time frame perspective on this one, particularly the XY. And let's see what we have here. It's the same. As you can see, we have much more bearish momentum. If you take this outlook right here, if you do something like this is your momentum, right? And also this is your trend line as what we have here. So basically, we are still within the range, and this is looking so much bearish already. What we can do is to anticipate the move in the market. Let's see how the market unfolds. We have something like this again, and most likely we still have more sell right there because the market is just following a structure within this trend line over the time. Until when? Until the price takes out this previous high and this high before we can look forward into the buy that we anticipate for a long time now. But currently, we are in a bearish momentum on this trend. That being said now, I think we from this perspective. So possibly if the price does this, then we'll be looking forward to see more bearish momentum. And of course, if the price does something like this, whereby it's going to break out this side, not just a fake out, but to change the direction completely, yes, this will also be a very good move. So currently we are stuck within the range and what the price is doing right now. And let's see how that unfolds on the currency pairs themselves. So going forward to the Euro US dollar, starting from the weekly time frame outlook, and we have this here going forward for the week. And you can see over the week, we've been having a range on this one particularly after we anticipated a level like this to happen where we have a bearish momentum, a bullish momentum if the price actually sells to this zone on the monthly time frame. So anticipation was to really see more sell momentum basically. And currently we have a range for a couple of weeks now, more than 8 weeks right there. We have the range just moving around there. And so far so well, what do we have here? Is it also tricky? Yeah, it's tricky for the week. You can see my last outlook on this. It looks good. Let me just show you a perspective of that. For a long time, we have a pure range here to the upside, a pure range here to the downside, a pure range here to the upside. Currently, we have it a down momentum. The rhetorics look on this looks more like we'll be having more bearish momentum, right? But well, let's see how that's unfolding in the market. If the price will be breaking below this structure right here, if the price is going to break below here, yes, it looks good for us to look for a sell in the future. Otherwise, let's see what we have on the lower time frame perspective, because right there on the higher time frame perspective, it's suggesting something different. So now we are within this range right there. I make this outlook on last Friday. So we add this one right here. And if you check this carefully, we realize that the market is at the bottom of the band of this trend line. So we could have a fake out, the price move back up there and continue buying based on what we've seen on the higher time frame perspective. And perspective like weekly time frame perspective, pushing momentum to the upside to take out this high is now something, and we have a shift to this level, which was a failure swing right here, and price has been giving us the vibe of higher highs and higher lows over since then. This high has been taking our market, retracing it, and then we may expect the price to just do something like this going forward. It's a little bit tricky as well, and I won't deny the fact. I just have to watch this how it unfolds in the new week. Probably there might be a gap down before we have more bullish momentum on this, but let's see how this unfolds because that will guide our next thought in the market. And on the Great Britain pounds US dollar, yes, this looks good. Let's check. Let's start from the weekly time frame as well. On the weekly, we have series of ranging and progressive. I call it progressive ranging because it moves in a particular direction in an annoying way, which is in a ranging manner. And that means it's still progressive in a way. And look at this. It's been lower lows and lower highs, but ranging. And of course, one time at a point in time, like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, it created a low structure below this level to grab liquidity. And it turned that level into a bearish bullish momentum. Ever since then, we had the bullish momentum. The last 2 weeks was significant in the market, and we can see the market gave us a bullish momentum right there. Last week also gave a bullish momentum right there. And this is not just a fake out. If you check it out on the daily time frame perspective, you realize that we have a very strong bullish move on the Wednesday of the week, and that took away the entire range of the ranging zone we had in that week and the previous days below it. So currently, we'll have another opportunity to see how the market will react from here. But on a lower time frame perspective, we had a sell momentum, which currently I took with the community on Thursday or Friday, I guess. And this was the level we had the zone here. For this fact that we have a void here, we have a range, took out this entire liquidity, and this is not one of the best zones, but it looks pretty good because we can see what the market is printing there, and this is not just for the first time. And let's wait, let's see how this go. My bias now, we may not have more bearish momentum as much as I thought, based on what the price has shown, but like what I'm looking at right here, we might have that bearish momentum a little before the price start buying again, whereby we can have bearish momentum into a range like this and market smash through this level and continue buying based on what we had. And this looks good until when the price gets here before we realize it. This is more like we're expecting a bit of sell before we have a buy to complete a cycle in the market. This looks better than the Euro US dollar when it comes to the price action, but this is my outlook on the this one particularly on the group 10 pounds for 4 hour time frame perspective. So I'm marking this level, taking it accountable for this entire range, what will happen here. So going forward into the next week, I'm going to be watching out for this one particularly, and it's going to be an interesting one, I believe so. Then moving straight to the next guy, which is the AUD US dollar. Nothing really much is happening on it. On the weekly time frame perspective, I've projected this for a long time before at the beginning of this year that I'm expecting it to get here annoyingly, but it has been annoying since then as well. And so far, so well, it's ranging. Last week we projected a buy, and let's see how that goes on the weekly time, on the daily time frame perspective. On the daily, there was a time we anticipated this zone we waited here for more than 2 weeks thereabouts. At a point on a Friday, price moved here, and that was 21st of November. And ever since then, it has bought over 226 pips, and this was the target, which has hit the target. Ask me currently what am I expecting? This too much of a steeper movement in the market, and looking at this momentum is too steepy, which makes me to also be caution of how this guy is going to fall. So basically, I'm not looking for anything really huge on this guy right now because I'm looking for how he's going to retrace. And retracing in the future means I'm expecting it to sell off again from where it is right now. So the bullish momentum really drop, might reduce in potential. And of course, we can have that momentum getting into a range like this before we have another great buy or sell from there. But before then, let the market move into a range like this before we discuss about it. So currently on this one, I'm not taking it for this week. I want to see it rather. I want to see it right now. I want to see, look at this 4 hour time frame perspective. It's quite steepy. And if you look at this trend moving like this, most of the times they're not really so nice because they're not reliable, so to say. All right. They are not reliable. The entire range was taken. So barely could you have a point to a zone to point to that you want to buy or sell from in the future. But based on what we have here, we've seen a rejection on the higher time frame perspective, and this has taken out the previous highest level we have, but we have a loss of momentum signal right here. So on 4 hour time frame perspective too, this is looking like we're going to expect more bearish momentum from where the price is right now. So that's going forward. Let's see how the price unfold, and we'll still be here to talk about it in the course of the week, and let's see if that's have any updates. And then on the NZD US dollar, checking out from the weekly time frame perspective, we have this ongoing, and that week we had a fantastic bullish momentum from this price level. That's like 2 weeks or 3 weeks now. 2 weeks, I guess, 2 weeks, yes. And it has moved significantly about 180 pips on average, and it's remained bullish. And then where do I have a potential opportunity in the market? It's right here above there on the daily time frame as well, which is this zone right here. At what price level exactly? 0.5799, approximately 0.58 psychological zone. That's where I was initially expecting the price to get into. All right. Expecting the price to get in here before I see more bearish momentum. This also is a very massive trend, but this is a better one than the AUD US dollar because at least you had a range here for 3 days before you had extensive movement to the upside again, and this looks good. But then let's see that on the lower time frame perspective to communicate better. Then you have this on the 4 hour time frame perspective. You have this. This is more looking to us like we have a cycle going on in the market yet to be completed, and it's just a little to get in there. Well, sometimes the market will not do that 100%, I understand. But at the same time, we are in a very good range whereby the bearish momentum we're looking for is looking right in the eyes like this before us right there. Because right here, we also expected a reaction in the market. This might not be much. That's the only thing I'm skeptical about that. If this is going to be obeyed, that means we may likely have, because this is a low budget one, if you ask me, in my opinion, I may have something like this, and then markets still smash through this to the upside because we had that opportunity. We have the massive sell momentum over the weeks, and then we can have this on the 4 hour time frame perspective, which also it looks good. So basically, if we're looking for that particularly, it might be a short-term sell before we have a buy. But otherwise, if the market is creating anything different from that, where we have a massive sell momentum, this level right here is where I would be waiting to see the market buying from in the future. That is way above the small pips movement. It's about 160 pips on average. With that now, it means market will definitely sell more if you're expecting that to happen. But if the momentum on the DXY is not suggesting so, that means this is going to be a short-term bearish momentum and we have more bullish momentum. Taking out this high at any point level, we have another demand zone right here. We're going to smash into it, and then we're going to buy off that zone in the future because we still have levels. We have a high price level here, we have our price level here, the momentum and other blocks, fair value gaps, all above all of these price levels here. So there are things that we can look out for in the future where we talk about this. So basically, this is my outlook on this one for this weekend. Going forward to the next, we have the USD card. On the USD card, let's see if weekly time frame perspective, we had a bearish movement on the for the past 2 weeks now. It's been bearish, and currently it had a very fantastic bearish week for last week, and it was important. And of course, at some point in time, I was expecting it to get into this range, about 500 pips upward. I don't know how long it's going to take before you get there, but this is the just the direct information and interpretation we could get the the DXY. So this interpretation is quite understandable. Now, this is what we have here. Higher highs and higher lows going on for a while now. And now the price is actually at the bottom of that momentum. So what exactly are we looking for? If we're looking at that from this perspective, that means the previous level we had has been broken, taken out by this last three bearish candle momentum in the market. How long is it going to sell for, or how long are we going to wait before we have a buy momentum? Okay, going to the lower time frame to discuss that. We don't have to wait. Whatever the price is showing, we have to react. We are not impulsive. Market mustn't move your way. You must move in the market direction. So we have this entire range right here, and you can tell the price actually visited the highs and the lows, the highs and the lows, and suddenly it broke out the previous low right here with huge momentum like this. And with this outlook, therefore, it calls for an attention whereby if you're not in, you have to be careful before you jump in. And let's see the entire movement in the market. This is what we had there. This is what we had there. Over time, we have a range to the upside now, breaking down the structure to the downside. What exactly are we looking for? Now, going to the 4-hour time frame perspective to discuss further, let's see what we have. The last three candlesticks of 4-hour time frame were massive bearish momentum, and this alone more or less like void exactly. So what are we going to do with that information? Therefore, now let's zoom the chart a little bit to the level whereby we have something like this. There's a lot of data. It's not really so nice, but basically with what we have here, there is a call for a retracement in the market. So the real question now is, after retracement, what are we expecting, or at what exact price level should we be expecting the retracement to happen? So I'll go to the time frame like this again. I see if we have any zone right here. If there is, it would be nice. If there is none, then we're just going to leave it and let it run for as long as it can till it gives us a bullish momentum, while the entire bearish momentum signal is being exhausted. So on a weekly time frame perspective or daily, we're now on daily. On the daily time frame perspective, this is the next low we add. I can't really tell if the price is going to smash this low. It is about 86 pips in the market. So all we can do is to go to the lower time frame. Actually, on the lower time frame perspective, we should get a better option. And I'm taking out this level, of course, yes. And let's see. I want to see if we have any price range whereby we can be expecting the price to get into. There is not really big zone as like that we're expecting the price to get into here. It's not looking nice, not looking clean. Just that tentatively, there is a zone like here, which is a low budget. If you ask me, it's more or less a low budget, but I think I can use somewhere like this. I can trace somewhere like this to the future, which I believe the markets can still gap down here. This should be around, pips, 30, thereabouts. Yes, okay, 40. This is about 40 pips down the range, and probably if the market jump down, like gap down to this level at the opening of the market for the week, then we can expect more bullish momentum to take back some of this momentum driven right here. And that is important. That means US dollar was really weak and CAD was really strong, and this happened. So that was a fantastic one for Canadian dollar. So let's get to the next one where we have another opportunity in the market. On the USDJPY, let's start from the weekly time frame perspective. Let's see what we have there. On the weekly, we have this zone, and this was my target, expecting the price to hit here before we start selling off. But the price has not gotten there. We have a rejection. The previous week before now, we had this massive bearish momentum, and last week we had this. And if you check the candlestick formation pattern, this is looking more like we have an evening star at this area of value, and with that information, it means we're going to sell. But on weekly time frame, this is all we have. Let's go to the daily to break it down a little, and let's see if we really have an opportunity here, or it just look like a fake out. On this particularly, the high has not been got into, the high has not been attacked. Yes, the high level has not been attacked, but we have a bearish momentum, and this is very sweet. If you ask me, in my own opinion, it is very, very sweet. This is about 346 pips, and this is a steady ranging and progressive bearish range. And if you look at that, we have a rejection for the past 2 days of that in the market. We have a good rejection. And what does that mean? Are we looking for more bearish momentum right here, or we want to sell off with this information? Let's see that on the 4-hour time frame perspective. On the 4-hour time frame, what do we have? We have nothing really going on there. Then we're expecting more sell momentum actually, because right here, if you check the trend line, you realize that we actually in a bearish momentum over the time, just like the DXY. So we don't have to deny the fact that this guy is actually showing a bearish momentum. So this is it right here. We are the top band of this bearish momentum on trend line. So this is a possible outlook. We might have have a buy from there, because I actually expected buy from here over the time before now. So basically, I'll be looking for more bearish momentum on this one, particularly on USDJPY. This is the 4 hours time frame. I'm expecting more bearish momentum before we're going to buy in the future. So that's that on the USDJPY. Let's see how the price will open. And of course, let me say something. If the price breaks above to create a structure above this trend line, all we have to do is to find a demand zone right above it. We're going to look for a good buy right there. In course of the week, definitely we're going to do that. But what we're doing now is based on what the price is showing. So there's no there's not anything wrong in that. So USDCHF, yes, on this guy particularly, uh not really much on it. On the on the weekly time frame perspective, we've been ranging, and it's also on the monthly demand zone level for a couple of weeks now. Since July, we've been ranging all through here. We have levels above here where we're expecting the price to get into for the future. And then this is a range on the weekly time frame perspective. We're just looking for a lower time frame perspective to derive an opportunity and a bias on the weekly bias or a daily bias or forward bias. So whatever bias it is, we got one at a point, and this looks good to now. But let's see what we have there. On the daily time frame perspective, we're still in a much range and higher highs and higher low kind of range, but currently we are stuck in between the range. And let's see that on the 4-hour time frame perspective. On the 4 hours, there was a time we anticipated and I projected we're going to be buying from here. Look at this zone here. The price actually smashed it down all through to this level. It took that about how many pips? Was it 50 or 80 pips? I can't remember. Okay, 52 pips. Yes, about 50 pips right there. The market now moved again back into the entry zone, and I care less about that at the second time. But currently, it has bought again significantly for about 58 pips. But when you check it on the daily time frame perspective, it looks good. But then this is not the entire thing. It should be better, and this is what we have here. So on the same zone we expected, it went to our entry zone twice, and it gave a good momentum for a buy. But the good momentum was still about 60 pips currently. So it's not really too much. But then let's see it on the 4-hour time frame perspective. Let's see what we have. Let's see what is ahead of us. And this looks good. This was where I was expecting the price to get into. But now the bias will be shifting based on what the structure is showing. And if we are going to actually buy, I believe we would have bought a long time from now. And rather than we waiting here and multiple times bouncing back here. So in my own opinion, I think the price may likely smash through that level and do something like this. Most likely, probably this is what the price has intention of doing. Why? We have a bearish momentum all through. Look at this one. We have a bearish momentum all through here without taking out this high, and that makes it a low budget zone for me. And with that now, I'm just anticipating here more bearish momentum. Anyways, more bearish momentum. If you take the buy, you can protect the entry, but I will be looking for more bearish momentum with what this is showing. Otherwise, only if the price is able to break above here, price break above here this way, and then we have something like this. This would be fantastic. Otherwise, I'll be looking for more bearish momentum. I'm going to take out this look here. I'm going to take this out. So this is what we have right there on the USDCHF. Without wasting time, let's go to the USDJPY. Now, this is what I was expecting to take out this side. When this side is taken out and close below it, then we'll talk about this again. Currently, I'm not talking about it because it does not do what I'm expecting, and I'm not ready for the games. So right here is the complete playbook, right? I'm expecting the break above here. When it does that, close below it, and then we have a massive opportunity to sell off in the future. But currently, right now, as it is, I'm not talking about this guy. Nothing there for me. This is the end of the year, by the way. Then GBP Canadian dollar also moved significantly into that range, and it was massive to see. And with that outlook, therefore, I look at this critically a little. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I think it looks good from here. So I can expect more. Let me see. Yeah, I can expect the price to jump in here. Just like there's a currency pair that looks like this, about 37 pips, right? So this 37 pips momentum, well, it's good. It's good. It's really good. We can expect the price and this void, it will be good to take part of this void and to take advantage and get the retracement juice. So I'll be looking at that again over the week. And let's see how the markets print out this level. I'll go to lower time frame to find a bullish structure with candle patterns, and then that will help me to especially wait for this buy. And is that on Great Britain pounds card. Then Great Britain pounds AUD, I'm not interested, not interested, not smooth. Just that last week I projected that we're breaking below. We could check if it was a fake out or not, but then expecting the price to retest, unable to break above means we're going to sell. And that I think is sold about 160 pips. Can you see that 160 pips, 164? Well, anyways, but then we talked about this during the week. Excuse me, we talked about this during the week. I think Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday. We talked about this. Okay, that is good. That is fair on Griffin Pounds here. You did not completely lose. It's still well, it's still dragging. But then on this one particularly, on the monthly time frame, this is massively bullish momentum. On the weekly, gold is massively bullish momentum. Like I said, I have no doubt in the buying. It's a very strong bullish momentum, just at a critical zone for me to buy right now. I'll only have to wait for the price. If it's going to dump here, I would be loving it to dump. If it dumped to this level, I don't know what will make this to happen, probably next year to March, maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. But whatever happens that makes gold to really dump, it will dump really good. And if it gets here into this range, this is where I have a demand zone, which I'm expecting to buy from in the future. Otherwise, everything here would be based on the lower time frame perspective, the buying and selling. It will be based on lower time frame perspective. Quality momentum and setup is just right here for me. Apart from that, anything here is just there by the way. You can see the market has actually been ranging annoyingly for the past couple of days now, and that's what we had. The entire last week was a range, which I said that it wasn't clear as a structure for last week market forecast, and you can see the market actually did that. So on the 4 hour time frame, let's see what we have. It looks good at that level. We had a sell momentum from here, which it took about 200 pips above that level before it started selling eventually. But ranging, it's really sick. And then I have this level which I expected the market to react to, this one right here, and that was where the market actually got to before it starts reacting and basing off. So after bouncing away from here, what do we have here? We have it. Well, not too much, not too much. Nothing's happening here. This much of a range, anyways. This is much of a range, no zone. And what do we have? Probably we may see a bearish momentum into this level and smash down a little. Well, that's just based on we have a solid sell or solid buy before now, and we can expect bullish momentum just a little at a favorable gap zone before it dump forward. But then this is not really giving that vibe, that vibe of a lot's happening. But let's see how it unfolds anyways. That's on good, nothing really much. BTC USD, this guy. Okay, let's check. Let's start from the weekly time frame perspective. I'm still seeing a bit of sell on it anyways. This is the weekly time frame, right? And on this weekly time frame perspective, we have fantastic bearish momentum following the sequence of the massive bullish momentum too. So, at some point, I was expecting the price to get here. It did. It swept through that level. It closed above it. So I entered another level for a buy anticipation. But currently, what do we have on the daily? Let's check it out on daily. Let's see what we have there. On the daily, it still looks good. I think this is more like a cycle, which has not been completed as well. You can see the price is still somewhere around here. Okay, look at this. Look at this. The cycle has not been completed around there. So, looking at this perspective from this way, I think we still be expecting more bearish momentum on it. And you can tell what we have here is very simple. We've seen a price actually doing all of these things. And let's see what we have. I don't want to take out this entire range, anyways. That's the thing. I don't want to take it out. Now we have. Let me just remove it. So this is the range right here. We have this. Now currently, this is where the market is, and I was expecting the price to actually get here before we have a buy. So basically, what I was expecting is to see the price doing the, no. Let me take it again. I'm expecting the price to do something like this. Okay, to do something like this. And that means we'll be buying from this zone. And that was the forecast. That was the outlook right there on the 4 hour time frame perspective. So nothing really much interesting than to see the price getting in here. And that is the projection from what we have here. So basically, I was expecting more sell momentum. We might have it to a level like this and smash down again. On the higher time frame perspective, we have reasons to sell and why to buy from a lower time frame perspective. Look at this entire range right here. So expecting the price to actually just do something like this. Let's be clear on that. But expecting the price to do something like this, and we smash down again later and grab liquidity below all of those price levels. So that levels now we have to do with the weekly time frame or the daily time frame zone where we are expecting to see the price getting into, but not here, certainly not here, anywhere around this range, but looks good for a sell currently. And then we have a buy before the sell. That's what I'm just expecting. Look at the price range right here. Look at this price action. So it's clean. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're stopping for this week. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and liking and sharing this with your friends that needs this financial information. I wish you all the best. It's a quality week of opportunity and trade it with maximum risk management. I wish you all the best and enjoy the rest of the week. See you again in a couple of days. Bye and bye for now.